And this is, it could apply to business. This same principle can apply to business. If you think about everything that can happen, it might deter you from even starting.
Yeah.
And so once I knew that, and I was like, I'm not about to put these thoughts in my mind. I'm just going to go there when the bridge gets to me, I'm going to cross. I'd rather regret a dream that I chose to pursue than to regret a dream I didn't choose to pursue. I started this business to push a message. And when you're in business, the business like this, if you're in it to make money, you will give up in the beginning. But I had to start. You know, a lot of people, they come up with these ideas and they don't start. And that's major. Like, you have to have action behind what you're believing in. And that's what I did. You know, I knew that, okay, I'm not just gonna sit here and talk about it, I'm gonna be about it.
Welcome to the Haitian King podcast. Today, man, is a special day. We got a special guest. You gotta love yourself sometimes. We're having a good time, and this man is an entrepreneur. He created his own brand, and then you got to hear that story today. So
you got to make sure those people know those things are quality too. It's not like the cheap shit you buy at a gas station.
And then we're gonna enter this
because we are wearing the merch today, and I'm telling you, I am impressed. And I've got all type of hoodies from shit that costs $10 to shit that costs $200, and I feel like this one could go toe to toe with the best of them. So
and
thank you.
You're good. We mean business. You see, today is the first time we got the glasses on. That's been we mean business. We got this businessman here. This is the man there on the brand, U.G.L.Y. Welcome to the show, bro.
Thank y'all for having me. Thank y'all for having me, man.
Man, we got to start from the beginning.
Well,
Yeah.
hold on. First, do I look ugly?
Man, you sure do? We all do.
We all look ugly right now. We all look
gotta love
ugly. So
yourself.
we all wearing the U.G.L.Y. brand. He got, because of Raywood Juba, the U.G.L.Y.
Yes, right.
brand. You gotta love yourself. I fucking love myself. So let's go.
Let's
do
go.
this
Let's
shit.
get it.
But yeah, man, like I said, we gotta ask. Let's start from the beginning.
All right.
How did the whole idea started?
Let's jump in the time machine.
Okay.
All right. So, you know, it started off as a joke, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Me and my buddies, we always called each other ugly. And that's how we greeted each other. Text messages, you know, hey, man, what's up, ugly? What you doing, ugly? Things of that nature. We on the back patio one day, trying to make a long story short.
Nah, make it as long
Take
as
your time.
possible.
Take your time, man. We
Okay,
got time.
cool. All right, so we on the back patio one day, and I'm tired of working for people. I want to work for myself. So we started brainstorming ideas, business ideas, like what businesses that we can start that haven't been started in this area. And when it was all said and done, after we went through a list, at the end of the conversation, I was like, man, let's just start a clothing brand and call it U.G.L.Y. And knowing him, he like, let's do it, you know, because as an entrepreneur, you got to have that spirit. Let's just try it. See what happens.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. But I was like, you know, I don't think it's going to work. But something sparked that day. I went home that night and started contemplating, like, man, I wonder if I can start a clothing brand and call it U.G.L.Y. and it be successful. First thing that came to my mind was give it an acronym. And that's what I did. Came up with You Gotta Love Yourself.
I think it's fucking dope.
And whenever I said it, you know, I wasn't thinking it at first. You know what I'm saying? I was like, ugly, you gotta love you. And then it just, man, it contradicts what it says.
Yeah, definitely.
And so I ran it by him the next day. I was like, man, what you think about this acronym? He's like, man, that's amazing. We gotta do it. I was like, but I'm not sold on it. You know, let me, I gotta get something else. I gotta do something else for me to be sold on it. So I made a shirt that said U.G.L.Y. I used my wife's silhouette machine. I made a shirt that said U.G.L.Y., put it on, took a picture, I put it on Facebook. I told my buddy, I said, if I get 100 likes, I'm gonna start a clothing brand. I didn't know nothing about business and clothing or any of that. Got 100 likes, over 100 likes, over 100 comments. People was wanting the product, so I said, we gotta get started.
Damn. I mean, so like too, when you think about it, sometimes so many people thinking it take it so hard, but sometimes you just started with an idea and then you act on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So many people got millions of ideas, but never act on
And
it.
it is so simple though. Like you think about it, because by listening to the story, that thing started on the back porch.
On a back porch.
And then the thing is, they got plenty of people right now sitting at home, got amazing ideas flowing through their head, and then it's kind of like when they hit the, I don't think it's gonna work.
That's right.
And then it stops right there.
That's
like
right.
Right now, I mean, your clothes being branded all everywhere. Like you said, they were at Macy's. I saw them like I knew before I met you. I knew U.G.L.Y. was from Lake Charles because I used to I dated somebody that told me that, the owner of that store is from Lake Charles. And I was in Atlanta, I believe. I think either Atlanta or San Diego, can't quite recall. And I saw it. I'm like, oh man, they're doing big things.
Yeah.
And then now I got to sit in front of you, and then you're telling me what I got to saw miles away from Lake Charles started on the back porch. And it did not start from L.A. or New York or one of those big cities. It started in Lake Charles from a guy who had a dream.
Yep.
But that's what makes it so amazing. But the second question I got, once you decided to go forward, what were the next step you took and the challenges you faced doing that?
So the next step that I took whenever I said I was going to start a clothing brand, if you're going to have a clothing brand, you got to have clothes to sell. So I started looking for manufacturers to put the ugly logo on. You got to love yourself. So that was my next step, is trying to find a logo, trying to find a manufacturer that makes products. You know what I'm saying? Start with a T-shirt. It's simple. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know anybody with a blueprint in retail for clothing. Okay. So I kind of was just going off of what I felt. You know what I'm saying? But I had to start. You know, a lot of people, they come up with these ideas and they don't start. And that's major. Like, you have to have action behind what you're believing in. And that's what I did. You know, I knew that, okay, I'm not just going to sit here and talk about it. I'm going to be about it. And so I started finding manufacturers. One of the first manufacturers I worked with was a little blank T-shirt company in California. And I got some T-shirts in, started slapping ugly on the T-shirts, you know, and then it got to the point to where I started finding manufacturers overseas who could start mass producing my products because the volume started picking up.
So let me ask you this. So since when you started here and then, you know, started with those people from California and you feel like, okay, that wasn't it yet. So what other step did you take? You like, you know what? Man, I'm gonna go to the source. So, do you have any experience like that?
So it got to the point to where I was paying a lot of money for samples. I was like, man, it's paying $500, $600 for a sample, and the sample would get in, and it would be something I didn't want. I'm a quality over quantity type of person, and I feel like, man, the quality of my product is going to be the image of my brand. If it's falling apart, people's not going to want to wear it. Yeah. Even if it does have a great message. But if it's falling apart, people's not going to want to wear it. So I was searching high and low, looking for one of the best manufacturers. And it got to the point to where I was like, you know, forget it. I'm going to go straight to the source. I bought instead of me spending $600, $500 for samples, I'm going to spend $1,200 on a plane ticket and go straight to China. And that's what I did. So
I mean, let's get to the China part. So so you tell me when you get a ticket, you go to China. Did you had contact in China? How did you do the whole like? You speak Mandarin?
No,
we don't know
so I don't speak any Mandarin, and it was a challenge. You know, it was a challenge within itself. Me just getting to China was a challenge, and the challenges that I faced was many. First of all, it was a 24-hour flight. So I flew out of Houston myself. I didn't have a translator, none of that. I flew out of Houston, 24 hours. It took the plane to land in Taiwan. It was 24 hours from Houston to Taiwan, and that's a long time on a plane. Yes. And that was one of the first obstacles I had to get over. And once I made it to Taiwan, that's when I felt like I was in a whole nother planet. I was in a whole nother universe because I didn't know any Mandarin. I didn't know their language, their culture. It was a culture shock for me. And these were some of the things that I didn't think about. I just did it. You know what I'm saying? Because if I would have thought about some of these things before going, I would have never went.
Yeah, I mean,
the 24 flight alone would have stopped me from going to China. Like, that alone would have been like, I can't sit in the same spot for 24 hours.
Oh, I know. Like, being in a plane is something that's extremely annoying. I'm
exactly.
sure anybody can relate to that.
Right.
And even though you can watch a few movies or whatever it is, but after a while, man, you've been sitting there. You're not moving. So it's kind of like you within a jail cell on a fucking chair.
Right.
Keep going,
and man. So I made it to Taiwan, and there was obstacles in there, you know, in Taiwan alone that I had to face. And one of the things, you know, was trying to find a ride, you know, trying to find, at first I had to find a terminal to make it to China. So that was one of the points that I had to land in, and it was a connecting flight from Taiwan to mainland China. So that airport in Taiwan was one of the biggest airports I've been in, and it was hard to navigate in that airport because of the language barrier.
Yeah.
And so once I finally found my terminal, and not only was a language barrier, it was a time barrier.
And a letter barrier.
How long was the
so it was
connecting?
Like a 12-hour difference from when I left from Houston to now. Like to
Yeah, no,
that.
I'm just saying, like, between to get to the first, when you get to Taiwan and to get to the next flight, do you have time?
The layoff? The
Yeah,
layover
do you
was
have time?
12 hours.
Oh.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
Man, that is crazy.
I mean, this is balls, man. That's
I
balls.
fell asleep, and I thought my plane left me because of the time. You know what I'm saying? I get there, I'm like, oh, I'm looking at my watch, but I didn't change the time to their time. And I'm like, oh man, I'm late. You know, I'm panicking. I'm trying to figure out who to talk to. And I finally found a tourist that knew how to speak English, and I asked him the time. And I went through like 20 people before I actually found somebody that can give me the right time, you know, that understood what I was talking about.
Yeah.
So once I realized I wasn't late, I found my terminal and I was able to make it to mainland China. And then that's when another obstacle came. The city that I went to was called Guangzhou, and it's not a tourist destination. And so nobody really speaks. Probably 5% of the population in Guangzhou can kind of speak English. And so when I got there, me trying to get to my hotel was an obstacle as well.
So let me ask you this. So that means I'm assuming. So you say you have no Mandarin.
No
you
Mandarin.
don't speak the language at all.
That's right.
So is that there was any like between the Mandarin between English?
Them letters.
Was the English on the bottom or nothing? It was just
nothing.
straight
It was
Mandarin.
Every other sign might have had an English word on it, but it wasn't like, it's almost as if you was to walk in a Walmart. Where do you see Spanish or where do you see Mandarin at?
No, zero.
So it was just like that in China. You might see it here and there if you paying attention to it, but that's how it was in China.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big obstacle because when you're looking at, let's say if you speak in Spanish or you speak in French, you see, oh, that's a E, that's a R, that's a E. But China, man, they look like karate, man. I mean, that shit look like
a house. What is that?
You showing the guy this little letter, you say house. The guy say, man, that's a A. You're like, what? That's a... But anyway, we had to make it.
So like trying to find my taxi, you know, and I had to go off of the symbols, you know. Luckily, yellow for taxi is universal. Yeah. So I was able to find a taxi, and I got in a taxi cab. The guy couldn't speak English. Luckily, I did a little bit of research before traveling there, and it said to print out paper, print your destinations that you got to go to just in case your phone died. But I also didn't realize there was a firewall up in China. Like there's no Google, so no Google Maps, no none of that. You out there. If you don't know where you're going, you don't know where you're going.
So you said that's when you go back to like 1965.
It was.
That's crazy, bro.
I just threw myself in the fire. And these are some of the things that I didn't know until I got there. So I had to cross that bridge when I got there. Because if I would have did all this research, it would have deterred me from going. And it could apply to business. This same principle can apply to business. If you think about everything that can happen, it might deter you from even starting.
Yeah.
And so once I knew that, and I was like, I'm not about to put these thoughts in my mind. I'm just going to go there. When the bridge gets to me, I'm going to cross it. And so when it got to that point to where I had to get this taxi driver this paper, and I'm thinking to myself, this paper that I gave him with the hotel that I was staying in was a skyscraper. It was a 5-star hotel. But the city that I was in, they had skyscrapers everywhere. So they all looked alike.
Damn.
And so I'm like, man, I gave him the paper, and he didn't really know where it was at. So he got out his taxi, came back 10 minutes later, and we started rolling. And I'm like, I couldn't ask him if he knew exactly where he was going because he couldn't understand me. But I was hoping that he knew exactly where I was going without me being able to talk to him. And so it was a challenge, but he got me to my destination, and I had transferred $200 of American dollars into yen. And I didn't know how much I had to pay the taxi driver. You know, I started pulling out money, and he was telling me that was too much. But I was like, look, man, just take this, because it was like $20 to me, but it felt like $1 million to him. The dude, he even took my luggage out the taxi and brought it to me. Helped me bring it into the hotel when they had chauffeurs there. You know. Damn. And I guess because I gave him too much money and tips or what have you. But it was a challenge, you know, in itself. You know, traveling from the United States to China, it was a lot of obstacles that I had to face. And once I came back, I felt like I could conquer the world.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If you made it through all that, man. Look, because that's the thing, like you said, it's kind of one of those things when you sit there and focus on what could not work.
Right.
It stops you, and especially if you got like negative people around you that's giving you bad advice, like, man, you better start a clothing brand. Who you think you are, Gucci?
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like stuff like that discourage you.
It
but
does.
the fact that you had balls, because that was a lot of balls.
That was a lot of balls,
And to go do that and not look where you're at right now.
Right.
And it's one of those things we like to do in this show. It's kind of like we like to have like exciting conversation, candid conversation that's gonna spark a fire under people.
Right.
Because right now I'm listening to this shit. Right now I want to start my own clothing brand tomorrow.
Yeah. Hey,
But I mean,
do
just
it,
like,
man.
it's
Do
just,
it.
but I know, like, sometimes, you know, like when you listen to stories like this, you have an idea, and you. No, I'm just saying, when you have an idea, you see it at home, and then you just like, man, like, that shit ain't gonna, or just like, just for example, it's like the podcast. You're just like, man, I want to start the podcast.
Right.
Shit. Anything could have stopped me.
Anything.
My English is terrible. They're not gonna understand
Right.
shit I'm saying. Oh my God, I'm not gonna look good on camera. Da, da,
Yeah.
da. But when you got all this, and sometimes it's all you have to do it. Be like Nike, just fucking do
Just
it. You
do
know,
it, right,
just
right.
do it. At
You
the end of
gotta
the
do
day,
it.
but
And
for you to go to China, I mean, I'm talking about you don't know nobody, nothing. You don't have somebody that's waiting on you there,
Yeah.
and you just step up and do it. Yeah, when you come back, shit, nobody can tell you shit.
Right.
I mean, literally.
And I didn't realize it was a crazy idea until I got back home.
I mean,
I started
you're
thinking
like,
about
what the
that.
fuck
I
was
was
I
crazy. Like, what was I thinking? you know? But it was an experience, and it the principles that I learned from that trip, I was able to transition that into to business, and it worked perfect. You know, but it was amazing. It was amazing.
But I gotta ask you this though. Like, let's just say, when things got to the point it got right now, and I know like a lot of time, whenever you got something, you don't get to see how big it is because you're so
Right.
focusing within the center of it.
Right.
You see the ups and downs, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Exactly.
But they got somebody from the outside that
Right.
looks at it, especially for me. Like I said before I even met you,
Right.
and I was miles away from Lake Charles, and I saw the ugly brand. I'm like, oh shit, this dude doing his thing. So
Right.
therefore, like, whenever you got a lot of people that started approaching you like that, like as like the big celebrity that you are, like, how do you handle that?
So like I don't see that I'm a big celebrity. You know, I don't see that. It's almost I look at it as me driving inside of a car. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what the outside of my car looks like. But people might flag, hey man, I like your rims, or I like your car, I like the color of your car. I'm like, man, thank you. You know I done it, but I'm not realizing it. I'm not realizing that that's what it looks like to other people, what it looks like to other people. I'm just in this car driving it. So when I'm in my business, I don't know how big it's gotten. I don't know how people perceive my business. All I see is like, I got this brand. I'm in my head, it's still a small brand. I'm still trying to grow this brand. Even when I made it into Macy's, in my head, I'm still thinking I'm a small brand. Like, I'm still thinking like I'm just a small person from Lake Charles, from the country, and I guess it's the humble in me. You know what I'm saying?
You got sometimes you gotta stay humble.
And so like, but I started meeting people from other cities. Like when I was in me and my wife and family, we went to the zoo in Houston. I seen about 6 people with ugly shirts on they was in different groups, you know.
How did that make you feel?
It made me feel like, man, like it was like, this was crazy. Cause usually when we walked up to the zoo, the person that was checking us in, they seen ugly, but they didn't really ask what it was, but you can tell they was trying to ask. But I guess they had already asked the people that were in the zoo what it meant.
Yeah.
And so when we walked in, it was just an amazing feeling. Like, man, I'm in Houston, Texas. They got like 6 different people wearing ugly, and they don't know who I am. And like they be-bugging, some of them was be-bugging me, but like they wear my product.
Man,
I didn't say anything. I was like, man, that's amazing, you know. But
Yeah, that's amazing.
it's different because I didn't want them to know that I owned it. First of all, because they might have stopped me, you know.
I mean, you could have said, hey, man,
questions.
it's like, I think, like, you know, in my perspective, I would be like, how's it feel? Can you tell me about, like, you know, like when you
Where
work,
you get it from? Where you bought it?
where you bought it? I mean, when you wear it, is that a good quality? I was just talking
Right.
as a fan talking, not the
Right.
owner, like, man, this is good. Yeah, I bought those. That's me talking.
Yeah.
I bought those. I love this quality, but what do you think? And see what the people say.
Yeah.
You're like, you can the feedback like that, though.
I was afraid to ask that question because I felt like it was going to spark, like, that's the guy from Macy's, or that's the guy from the news. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. And when I was in LA, somebody recognized me, and I'm like, I'm way in LA. We had walked into a store because they have some nice store. The stores in LA are really nice. They got some nice storefronts out there, and I was trying to bring that concept back to Louisiana. Like they got like a simplicity setup out there. And when we walked in, we was walking into many different stores, like clothing stores, just to try to get a feel how we wanted to launch, like how we wanted to build it in Lake Charles. And there's one particular store we went into, a cashier came up to me and she's like, man, I know that brand. That brand's from Louisiana. It stands for You Gotta Love Yourself. I'm like, man, yeah. And she said, you look like the owner. I'm like, oh, like you caught me, you know? And so we took a picture with it and everything, but it was the fact that's like, man, how, like, to see it stretch so far and to see it reach and touch so many people, because she was excited. And she was telling us how the brand, like, helped her see herself differently. And it's not a conceited type of love. Like when I say you gotta love yourself, it's like you valuing yourself. Type of love. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think even this conceited, I think it's still love. Love starts somewhere.
I'm gonna tell you, like when I saw your brand, the message, for some odd reason, I've always compared it to FUBU in my head.
Yeah.
Bios.
Right.
And short funny story, when I was in Haiti, I had a FUBU shirt. I used to go play soccer with it.
Yeah.
And for some odd reason, people couldn't pronounce my name. And then until this day, I got people that knows me as FUBU.
What up, FUBU?
And so when I see your shirt, that's kind of the brand I can compare it to myself to. Because that's a beautiful message in an ugly way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know,
makes sense.
you know why you say that though? I don't know. It's because, you know, I got some language barriers.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be like, yeah, and they'll be like, so man, where's the next guest? I'm like, yeah, the ugly guy. Yeah. They say the ugly guy. Like, you know, I'm like, oh no, the guy that on the brain ugly. Oh, he's just kind of like, I said, the guy is ugly. You know what I mean?
And that's what the beauty is in this message.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the spark within it, because yes, it is a nice hoodie.
Right.
But at the same time,
nice
at the end of the day, it's a hoodie. But when you got it on, you got that weird message on there. Because I remember I saw this guy that had this message on his shirt. Like, he was like a plain t-shirt. He looked like he printed it himself. I think the message was, stores are running out of tampons because they got too many pussies in this world.
Oh!
Or something. And then it was like a messed up stuff, but the message stood out. And I feel like within the same way, that message stood out. Yeah. Especially when you go by the acronym. What the acronym is. When you see the message that it gives, it's like, that's what makes it, I don't know, attractive.
Because like you said, he go against ugly, being ugly. You know what I mean? It's just like loving yourself. But I wanna go back to the how the whole Macy come up.
So Macy's, man, that was a shocker for me. You know, like I got a call. This was like within a year of business. I got a call from I thought it was a telemarketer. And it was a foreigner person that was on the phone, and I was like, man, this got to be fake. You know, the dude talking about he's from Macy's. I was about to hang up on him, but I just entertained it. And luckily I did, and I'll never entertain calls that phone numbers I don't recognize. And that was like, man, they're noticing me. You know, like what my marketing and what I'm doing in business is being noticed by the likes of Macy's. And that lets me know I was on the right track, you know. Yeah. When they started reaching out to me, and that partnership that I did with Macy's was a game changer for me, and it opened my eyes to a different side of business. It exposed me to more of a bigger market. Being like in a lot of the stores they wanted me to be in, I was when I partnered with them. I went into like California market. I went into the Atlanta. Chicago, a lot of different cities and states, you know, that I was in. I was in like 3 different cities within the LA area. And it's weird how their market works too, you know. Certain products sells faster in certain areas. Like in Chicago, for some reason, the socks were selling out. And I sent the same amount of quantity to each of the locations. Yeah. California, the shirts was going crazy. And in Atlanta, you know, like the hats was going crazy. So it's like different locations. I realized there's a different market and a different need in those markets just by me being in Macy's. So it gave me a better understanding on the people that were in that area.
Oh, that's pretty cool, because when you say it like that, you send it to, I mean, I would never think of it like that. Right, like you say, like it's in like one area, like it's just like it's the shirt, and then one area is the socks. So so now you can actually see, you know what, I'm not gonna like sending so many shirt to Chicago, so I can put that to California where I know. That's pretty cool.
And go ahead.
No. The next question I got for you is though, like, as the owner, as the person that literally started it from a porch, like in the back of a house, just bullshitting, and now look where it is. what would the goal be for you, like when it's all said and done?
So I guess the goal for me would run it until the wheels fall off. You know, like I always had aspirations of being a competitive Nike and Under Armour. And that's just my goal. People may say I'm crazy.
No, it ain't
Oh,
crazy
yeah,
at all. It
okay.
ain't
Like,
crazy at all.
But that's me shooting high. That's me shooting for the stars. If I'm
Yeah.
aiming low, I might not make it there.
Yeah,
get what I'm
yeah,
saying? So
yeah.
I aim high, and if I aim high, I feel like I can get somewhere in that vicinity. And I tell myself all the time, like, man, I was next to Nike and Under Armour and all these guys when I was in Macy. So I look at that as me being a competitor.
Yeah,
again,
yeah, you are a
you know?
competitor.
And so like for me, like I really want to. It's the brand and the message is bigger than me, and I want to see this in every household because I feel like it's something that we all need as individuals. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have
yeah.
to value yourself, and not only is neat, like you can wear this, like you can let people know, like, hey, I value myself.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
ugly. You know what I'm saying? Like I value myself. And I feel like they can help with so much that's going on in the world. There's so much negativity that's going on in the world. I want to push some positivity into the world. You know, I feel like I can change the world by just making these shirts and pushing this brand.
One shirt at a time.
One shirt at a time.
So what's the next step for Ugly though? Like, what,
So
what
for
else
right
you got
now,
going on? You working
the
on?
next step is me trying to relaunch Ugly because it was hacked. So I'm in the process of relaunching everything, and that's me. Right now we're online, and they can find us on U.G.L.Y NMW.com. So they can find us on the internet right now, but I'm not pushing it, so you might not see it being advertised. But the next step for Ugly is to start pushing it on the website and on the internet, and then from there we're gonna start opening up more bricks and mortar stores. You're gonna see them start popping up in big cities like Houston, probably LA. I'm gonna try to hit New York. You know, that's gonna be a difficult one, but it's gonna make it happen. You know.
So hey, like so having how you promoting it, the brand? Do you have like celebrities? How is this a whole?
So the way I go about promoting the brand is using influencers, and I use influencers that are on social media platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I feel like those platforms are bigger than the TV. Like,
Yeah, that's for sure. In 2024, that's for sure.
right. And so like I'm pushing those influencers, and so I have some set up, and that's gonna be my way of pushing the brand and relaunching. And so I have a lot of them that's ready to roll. You know, they ready to start pushing Ugly. You know, they love the brand, and they calling me and sending me messages. Hey man, I'm ready. You know, whenever you ready. And so I'm just waiting for the right time, which should be in like midsummer. That's when we're gonna launch, and I want to do it all at the same time. So everything's gonna be ready.
So since you've been having Ugly, so what kind of type of celebrity you worked on that people knows?
Well, I'm pretty sure everybody heard of Dwight. Dwight, if you're listening to this, man, I might have to reach back out to you. My Instagram and everything got hacked, so you might have tried to reach out to me, but I didn't see you.
Talking about Dwight Howard, right?
Dwight Howard, the
Okay.
basketball player. He was a cool guy, you know. But I reached out to him. There was other influencers like Funny Mike. There's other ones, you know, that I've worked with. Holy God, he called himself Holy God. Robbie World, Deputy B. Just so many influencers on social media, you know, that I reached out to, and they helped push the brand, you know, get it to where it was at, you know, by promoting it and their followings becoming our followings, things of that nature, you know.
So because I remember before, before we started rolling, and then he had that, we was having that conversation, but I know sometimes you can have a celebrity and there's one that say, I want 30% or 40%
Right.
and the brand. How you feel about that?
So, you know, it all depends on who the celebrity may be and how they are in business. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't just partner with anybody just because they have a name. Like, I'd rather partner with somebody that doesn't have a name and has the knowledge of business and the drive that I have for my brand, if it was for my brand, if the partnership was for my brand. But it all depends. It'll be off of chemistry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it had to be a lot of synergy, you know, for me to be like, hey, this celebrity is a good celebrity, because I got to make sure this person might not be trying to screw me. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know their agenda. You know, I won't just jump just because they have a name. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes that can be a smoke screen.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I think I'm looking at the quality of the product. I mean, like literally, this is big time because when I hear you talking about it, sometimes it's just like a lot of people trying to make a few bucks and then they got bad quality. But the fact that you value quality,
that's right,
over quantity, and this is good because I'm wearing this like even though before the shit started, I was like, damn, I mean,
that's some nice stuff.
I love the hoodie, you know what I mean?
People call me crazy, but I tell them all the time, I didn't start a business to make money. I didn't start the business that I have to make money. I started this business to push a message. And when you're in business, the business like this, if you're in it to make money, you will give up in the beginning because there's so much money that it takes to grow something like this to where I got it. People will give up. And if you're not in it for the message or whatever it is that you believe in, I strongly suggest that you find another business to push, like a service-based business, or is a business that you can make money in, contractual, like something along the lines. But like for a brand, if you're in business to make money, starting a clothing brand, it would be something I would say I wouldn't do it if I were you.
I mean, that's it because sometimes, I mean, like I said, sometimes you do something. And if you're trying to do it for the money,
right,
and the money's not coming like you expect it to come, and you're gonna give up quick. Give up quick. And then sometimes if you start taking your money out, more money, you'd be like, man, this is not what I expect because I thought I was gonna make money. Right. But like you say, if you have a message, and then you base it on that message and what you're trying to help, you know what I'm saying? Somebody else, you can change their life by having this message, then you just like, all right, so I lose money, but I can keep going because my main goal was to touch people.
That's right. And so by me seeing me touch people and it reached the word was reaching too, I can care less with the money. I didn't allow money to make the decisions for me. I allowed where it's gotten to make the decisions for me, if that makes sense. Like the money came after the idea.
Yeah.
Like for instance, when I opened up my first store, the amount of money that I made didn't justify me opening a store. I might have made $200. The rent was $4,000. That didn't include me trying to put products in there as well. You know what I'm saying?
And employees and all that type of stuff.
Exactly.
Also,
So it was like I believed in the message before I believed, and like before I seen the money. Like the money was a byproduct of the brand growing.
Since you're talking about message, tell me, I'm gonna ask you this. Mm-hmm. Tell me, since you've been opening this brand and you've been going through it, tell me something like a message that was like somebody tell you how the brand affected them, the message that's kind of touched you and they stay with you till this day.
So there was a time where I was about to give up. And there was a kid that came up to me and he told me, it's like, man, this brand is very inspirational to me. And it means so much. And I can see that it meant so much to him that kept me going, that picked me back up off my feet, because I was like, man, this isn't just for me. This is for other people. Like I created something that other people are buying into. And it was numerous of times where I've met people. I even got messages. Like it was one time we were in Atlanta. I had my brother and my nephew and another one of my team members. We went to do like a pop-up event. And man, we was selling out. Like we sold out in like literally 2 hours in Atlanta. But we got back to our hotel early and we pulled up in the ugly truck, and I got ugly on the side of the truck, and we all had ugly on. And a group of people seen us. Hey, man, they stopped us in the lobby. Hey, what does that stand for? We told them. So we get to our room. We go to sleep. We wake up in that morning, and we look at the door. There's a note under the door. And the note says, man, we love y'all message. We pray that y'all keep going forward. It's touched us in ways y'all can't even understand. And that was another time, like man, that was like, I cried. Like, man, like these people had to go look. They had to look for our room. It was scary, but at the same time, it was like, man, we're touching people. You know what I'm saying? And the message is touching people.
That gotta be motivational for
you.
It
was very, very, very motivational. And I was like, man, we gotta keep going, not for us, but for them. For other people that actually that likes the brand. You know, everybody won't like it, you know what I'm saying? But the people that does, you know what I'm saying, like that, thank y'all. Thank y'all for believing in the brand. Thank y'all for valuing yourselves. You know, like the message is that's the main goal.
But I gotta ask you this though. You started this thing a long time ago,
Right.
and I'm sure you had to deal with a lot of hurdles and challenges and shit you had to overcome. Because especially going all the way to China on your own, I'm sure that was like a big hurdle. Like, what other hurdles have you gone through? I'm sure there's a lot.
Oh, it's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. You have gone through.
So one of the hurdles that I had to face was financially. That's a hurdle you're gonna have to face eventually. You know what I'm saying? I have business not to make money, but that's a hurdle you're gonna have to eventually face.
Everybody gotta face that.
So when you first start off in business, there's really I didn't realize it was a con to growing too fast, and that one con is money. Like when you start growing, you gotta have money to grow with it, you know?
Yeah.
And so the first hurdle I faced, like I said, I partnered with Macy's in my first year. I opened a store, but I couldn't go to the bank and say, hey, I need some money, because the bank wouldn't give me a loan unless I was in business for 2 years, and I was only in business for a year. So by the time I got to that 2-year mark, COVID wanna hit, hurricanes wanna hit. So I had to, so it kind of like, it stopped me from going to the bank, because like when COVID hit, we was out of commission for about 6 months. The banks want to see statements. I couldn't show them any statements for the last 6 months. I can only show them what prior to the 6 months. And so they're like, okay, wait a little while. You know what I'm saying? Build up, do a couple of months, come back. Did a couple months, hurricane hit. Damn. So it was like I had to keep snowball. It was like a snowball. Like in the beginning, it's like I was building a snowball, and every time an obstacle came, that snowball melted. But the snowball has to be big enough for me to take it to the bank. Like, hey, put this in your freezer, and I'm just gonna keep growing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just an analogy I try to come up with. Try to get people to understand like what it was like me trying to overcome these hurdles. And in between all of that, I was being infringed. Champion, y'all. Thank y'all for Champion was infringing on me as well. I had to send them a cease and desist letter, and I didn't realize the cease and desist letter is like $6,000. So it was hurdles after hurdles, and it was like that cease and desist letter because the attorney that I had wouldn't fight for me because it was Champion, and it was like, man. But Haynes owned Champion, and so I finally found an attorney that was going to go to war with me because Champion was using my logo. Basically, they had ugly. You gotta love yourself with a big champion going across it. So, and I had people reaching out to me, asking me where to get this product from. So I had to reach out to my attorney, like, hey man, this is a conflict of interest, or this is they're infringing on the brand. I need to send them a cease and desist letter, and they did, and they stopped. They had to get rid of all the products, things like that. That's something I didn't really tell anybody. I just come up with it now.
Yeah.
I didn't want to bash other brands. You know what I'm saying? Champion is a great brand. You get what I'm saying? But I guess they thought I was small. They didn't think I had the money to go. I'm assuming because I'm pretty sure they seen ugly. Because we were in Macy's, we were in all over, like we were on the news, shows at that time. But that was another obstacle that we had to get over. I had to get over, But it was so many different things, so many different obstacles that I had to overcome.
It was like a we're gonna do it. If they say something, we're gonna take it off. If they don't,
right.
Oops! Oh, I didn't know.
That's exactly how I felt.
We did that. Oh, my bad. Like kind of like that.
And that's kind of like what kind of messed up about it. And then and then that's not just you shooting down Champion. That's me doing it.
Right.
No, seriously though, it's kind of like when you have a dream and then you starting like that. You got somebody starting small,
that's
not
right.
only small but from a small town. Yeah. And then you're just trying to rob the man's idea like
that's
that.
Right.
That's kind of wrong on so many freaking levels.
That's right.
We got champions who can afford to do God knows what.
Exactly.
I feel like if they appreciated that message so much, they could have reached out to you like Macy's
That's
did.
right. And I would have been okay with doing,
exactly.
a partnership. Like, man, that would have been amazing.
Exactly. To where it's kind of like, man, I'm feeding off for you, feeding off of us. So we like the brand, we like the message you're sending. But the fact that they went in and be like, hey, man, we're going to do it and see what happened. That's kind of so wrong. Yeah. But that's like another thing you got to deal with whenever you step within the world of business.
Exactly.
But
it's a part of the territory. It was crazy how I found out about it. Had some guys calling me from California trying to order the products. Hey, man, everybody's out here wearing it. Y'all must be millionaires now. I'm like, oh, man, I wouldn't say millionaires, but hey. And he was like, yeah, I want to get some products. It's sold out. I said, okay. I said, what kind of products do you want? He started explaining to me the products that he wanted. And I said, okay, they don't sound familiar. Can you send me a picture? So he sent me a picture through Instagram. And I asked him where he got it from. He told me a store in San Diego. I said, man, I don't have no products in San Diego. The only place we is in LA. Los Angeles.
Maybe that's what I saw.
Yeah, but it didn't get big because like it you would have known it didn't just say ugly. It said big champion across it. But I was able to hurry up and stop it. But they was pumping it. It didn't take them long to make.
And especially champion, they got like God knows how many stores.
That's
and
right.
Compared to the small guy, it's
That's
so
right.
unfair and like on so many levels.
But it's all fine. Like hey, I don't blame them.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a great
I
message,
guess it's the price of doing business,
That's
but it's
right.
still like it's so wrong though. It's not making it
is.
right. But
Like I said, they could have reached out and
Yeah.
did this. Like, hey man, we like the message you're sending, so let's
Yeah.
partner up, let's make money together. And then if you had Macy's, you had champions with you,
Yeah.
who knows what the brand could have been.
That's
but
right.
the fact that they wrote off your message,
That's right.
that you came on your own, that you had to fight, like you had to work your ass off to get it to where it's at. And clearly they saw it and they liked the message.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we're just gonna rob it because we can.
That's right.
That is so wrong. But,
that's so wrong.
Yeah.
but like, the next question I actually got for you. Let's just say right now, if you had a chance to go talk to that guy on that porch, what would you tell him? Hey man, got a lot of heat coming. Like, what would you tell that guy?
Man, honestly, I would probably tell him to say, let's do it. Let's go for it. I like challenges. I love it. You know what I'm saying? It makes me a better individual. I'm like, man, let's do it. That would be what I would tell him.
But I say, couldn't for instance, like you, I know, still young, but if you was have like young kids watching this, when young kids watching this, and if you had a message for them, like as a person that starting something just on the back porch,
Right.
like just an idea floating around, what would you tell them?
Go for it. I tell people all the time.
I felt like the warning you give them, like, hey, this is what's coming. This is going to be this, and that.
Right. I guess I wouldn't give them a warning, you know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't know what obstacles they would have to face. But I would tell them, you got obstacles you're going to have to face. And you just got to overcome those obstacles. You know what I'm saying? When you get to that point, you're just going to have to cross that bridge. But I always tell people that ask me that question, it's like, hey, I'd rather regret a dream that I chose to pursue than to regret a dream I didn't choose to pursue.
Man, I agree.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
I agree 100%.
if I'm 60 years old, I can be like, man, dang, I wish I would have did that.
It's best to be 60 and be like, man, I tried it. Like, I give it
tried
my best, but I knew where I'm at. I knew I tried it. I knew exactly.
I can't fault myself. I can't be guilty.
I think it's a lot of people too. A lot of people are when they reach that age gap and sit down and see so many things they could have done, or maybe because they worried what other people are gonna think of them,
right?
Or like, they're not gonna like this, or they're not gonna like that, or what they're gonna think of me, or what if I fail? What if that shit doesn't work? And then sometimes you don't do it. 5 years later pass, you're still in the same spot, nothing happened. 10, 20 years later, and you're like, man.
That's right.
And then because all these years that pass, what happened to us? You get like maturity, and now you care less about what people think. And you're like, man, I could have done the shit in my 20s, but sometimes it's just, the thing we deal with, like, society, the pressure, watching social media, watching other people, like, doing it, and you're looking at yourself like, man, I can't do it. But till you put yourself in a situation, put yourself out there. Like, even though right now, like, I always said the podcast, man, there is no way. I mean, for me as an introvert,
Right.
I don't like, I'm kind of quiet, chill. Like, I laugh a lot. I like to make jokes. But when I'm around, like, my people and stuff like that. Right. But for me to be on the camera, having like me and people and stuff like this, that's not something I never envisioned myself to do. But sometimes you have to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation to see what you can do.
That's right.
And then be like, man, I love this. Because right now we got chance to talk with people with a story like this, guy that take boys to go to China, don't even know Mandarin and stuff like that. I'm like, fuck, shit, we can do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the people.
And also, one of the beauty of what we got going on right here is the fact that we have a chance to sit across from somebody like yourself.
Most
and then to an extent, when you listen to the story, you see, me personally, I see some familiarity with what they're doing. And I'm sure somebody gonna be sitting at home listening to this podcast, listening to your story.
That's right.
Because like I always say, a lot of time when you see something from the outside, it looks so big.
Yeah, right.
And it looked like, oh my God, this is too much. I won't be able to do it. But the fact that we can bring people like you that can just sit down and break it down to them, to where you can make it seem like, man, I wasn't planning going to China. I had no idea what the hell I was doing, but I cross that bridge anyway.
That's right.
And then those conversations gonna spark a fire under who knows.
That's
Another
right.
guy sitting in his back porch right now watching this shit on his phone or wherever it might be.
Yeah.
To where that might spark that fire under him to where it's gonna be like, man, you know what, screw it, let's go for it. Because a lot of time you come up with something and then it's kind of like the idea died before it can even grow wings. Because you're gonna have a lot of negativity either from yourself, or somebody else you might run it by, and they might be like, man, that ain't gonna work, man. Who you like with you. Somebody could have just told you, man, the fuck you think you with, Ben Gucci?
Yeah.
Who you think you with, Louis V or something?
Yeah, I mean, even though like
just like that, the whole idea died right there. But you had to, what you did wasn't nothing small. And like you said, whenever somebody's starting like a dream, something they want to follow, they gotta put it in the back of their mind. Yeah. I can't quite do it for money right yet. I'm sure the money will come. That's further down later.
Right.
But if you think you're gonna start it and in 2 years, 3 or 4 years, then you're gonna be rich, most of the time it doesn't quite work like that. So it's kind of like whenever you want to follow those ideas, you gotta be willing to do the work for the love of it.
That's right. It's for the love.
And then everything else will follow.
That's right.
But that was some crazy story. But to follow it with a question. Talk to me about like all the stuff y'all got. From what type of merchandise you got in total, everything.
So right now we got head to toes. We got hats, beanies, sunglasses, hoodies, shirts, jackets, pants, shorts, underwear, shoes, watches. We transitioned over into golf clubs as well. We're just trying different things, you know. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are familiar with this brand Supreme. We're not trying to be exactly like Supreme, but we want some of the same things. We want to try to make the brand almost how their brand is, you know, similar to like all these different products that they have. You know, they got something for everybody. Water bottles, you know, it don't matter. You know, like, but not to their extent. You know what I'm saying? But I want it to be like a household brand. If you don't like the clothing, and we got a bottle for you. We got some golf clubs for you. You know, you might not like the way it feels. Not everybody like the way our clothing feel. You know, some people love it. You know, everybody has their preferences. And but we trying to hit everybody, you know, because we really want everybody to push that message. You gotta value yourself. You know, you gotta love yourself. So now we got a lot of different products, and there's more to come. You know, like that's what we have at this moment. And that's not saying that's all we're gonna have. We may, the sky's the limit. You know,
shit, Nike better watch out.
That's right. Coming. They better watch out. Nike, I'm coming for y'all. Today is the what day is?
Today is what, 27th, 8th?
Yeah, 27th.
The 27th,
he
2024.
Said it. You heard in the Haitian King podcast. He said
right.
Nike is coming. I mean, I don't see. I mean, like when you talk about it, even just like why this exact same thing right here, and you put Gucci right here. Yeah. And that probably like
that's $600, but
this is the same. This is same quality, man. This is good freaking quality, man.
And the funny thing about that is, I'm glad that he kind of said that. I remember I watched a video where they put, I think it was like Louis V, you know, random T-shirts they bought at a gas station, and they put it at not Macy's. What's the name of that store?
Dillard's.
Yeah, Dillard's. They put it at Dillard's, and then the shirt didn't sell for like 2 weeks, and when he finally sold, it sold for $300.
That's great.
And the thing is, because a lot of people are gonna look at this right now. Because like, what does this brand got on you really besides the name and the fame?
That's it.
You know, everybody know about Nike. Everybody know about Supreme. Everybody know about all that type of stuff. But here you are, you're coming. Because clearly, if we're talking about quality, and I feel like you can match those things toe for toe.
Right.
So therefore, whenever you get, let's just say hypothetically in the future, 5, 10, 15, 20, 60 years later, you get to that point. To where you matching all this company toe to toe. Overall, do you think you're gonna look back and enjoy? And I know it's kind of like a stupid question, but like, you're gonna look back and feel like, damn, I did that.
Right? Oh yeah, almost definitely. You know, it's not a conceit. I feel like I'm gonna be like, man, I did that. You know, I can look back and look at all the obstacles that we had to cross. You know, it's not just me, it's my team too. I have a team, you know. So it's like, I had to look back like, man, look what we got through. Look what we conquered, you know. And it's like, it makes you want to keep going forward. Like, what's next? You know, like, what's next? What mountain we got to climb next to get over to keep going forward? And and it's inspiration to look back and be like, man, that's where we came from. And we in too deep.
Yeah, too deep. We done put us Sahara Desert. Something gotta shake. I mean, fuck. We gotta find water. We thirsty now.
Exactly.
We thirsty now. Shit. What are we doing? We gonna die here or we gonna keep walking?
But some people can fall off the way, you know.
Oh yeah. I mean,
But
shit.
you got to keep pushing.
Yeah, you got that. That's the damn. And that's why, like, when you talk with people like yourself, man, that they got the mentality, they got the mindset, they got the go-getter. Like, so many people every day making excuses.
Yeah.
Why you didn't do that? You always find some way to blame yourself. That's what I'm saying? Or blame not even yourself. Sometimes they blame other people. Yeah, it's because of my past, or it's because of the people trying to hold me back. Bullshit. I mean, look at this man go to, I don't care what you said. That man went to China. He don't speak no Mandarin.
Yeah.
I mean, 99.9% chance everything could have go wrong.
That's right.
That's 0.1. Let's go.
Let's get it.
And guess what? Now we got ugly. You gotta love yourself.
That's
man.
right.
So, like in the show, we like to do what would you call a game show. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna ask you some questions, and then what the first thing that come to your mind, and that's what you say.
All right.
Start. It's like random questions.
So if you had to eat, I like to. If you had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, pizza not included, what it would be?
Rice and gravy.
Ooh, man from the South.
Rice and gravy. I can eat rice and gravy all day.
What's your favorite restaurant in town?
Famous foods.
Famous, man. That's all Southern food.
Yeah,
that's for sure. We got another question. That's easy though. Let's just say if you have to wear like one brand clothes for the rest of your life. We usually ask you that, but I feel like with you it's just you already know.
Hey, I'm ugly all day.
I mean, the men show up ugly all day.
For the people that can't see, the men show up ugly.
I said ugly socks
to hoodie.
What you realize, like you said it, like Gucci is selling the same quality product that I'm selling for $600. Like I'm not gonna put myself in that situation. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
And I love myself.
And that's your shit, though.
Yeah, this
I mean, like it feels different. I'm talking like it feels
like,
good to wear. It feels good to wear this. But when it's your shit, I think you feel 10 times better to wear your shit. Okay, so if you had to live in one city for the rest of your life, what city would be?
Lake Charles.
Oh, come on.
All right,
I think you're full of shit.
But listen, all right, so look, put it like
why?
this.
Let me put it why.
If I was to have to live in a city for the rest of my life, it would be LA. But it had to be with the people that's from here.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
I get that.
If I was to pick the location, it would be LA and the people from here.
I got you.
I love my people.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we got some crazy weather. I hit rain every day. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on with this weather.
Hey, man, this is Lake Charles, bro. It's crazy because I'm going to say Louisiana, bro. I'm in this weather, bro. It's just...
It's crazy.
You got, how you call it? It's a bipolar.
It's bipolar.
Man, you did one day it's cold, the next day it's hot, the next day it's cold. Like, I mean, God damn, man, you trying to...
too many freaking tornadoes.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That is crazy.
But I love Lake Charles, though.
I love Lake Charles. I love my people.
But yeah, man, look, thank you for stopping by, man. It was a great conversation, and trust me, we could have gone over for 3 hours if we wanted to, especially with this ugly situation you got going on. I'm sure there's plenty of stories you didn't get a chance to really tell. Hopefully one day you can come back, and then I'm sure, we could be to a point where it's kind of like, when you see ugly, you see $1,000 price tag on it.
Oh, yeah. But okay, since he's in that, before we so did you see yourself ever doing the brand where he's so expensive, or do you have to go to the brand it's just...
You just want to keep the message going.
I want to keep the message going.
It's not about
I want it to be affordable, but at the same time, not too cheap.
Okay.
Because I don't want to be like how Shaq is in Walmart. He's affordable, but he's I still want the product to have value.
Yeah, okay.
I don't want to devalue the brand, but I'm not going to be crazy expensive.
Okay, I got
you. You get what I'm saying? I'm not going to be too cheap. I'm not going to be too expensive. And the reason for that is because I have plans for Ugly to help out in the areas. Like helping out when natural disasters happen.
Yeah.
I want to have a team that goes and help in those areas. So I gotta have a way of doing that. But I'm not gonna be crazy expensive when it comes to the product, because I want everybody to know I value myself so I can value other people.
And I value the brand because, man, I'm telling you right now, shit, I'm gonna fuck with that. I know I'm I always like to with my clothes on, but shit, this is legit, man.
I want to thank y'all for having me, man.
But to close, closing on that note, make sure you talk to the people once again to let them know how they can get in touch with
Man.
like such great qualities.
Y'all can find me on social media, Instagram, UGLY.NMW. And you can also find us online at UGLYNMW.com. And that stands for You Gotta Love Yourself No Matter What. .com. It's an acronym for that.
All right. So I want to say this to the people. Thank you so much for supporting this channel.
Yeah.
And we appreciate the love. We appreciate the support. And because of this is the reason we do the show. We do the show for having people like this come in and talk to us, and we can bring you different messages. We can bring you different stories. And we appreciate everybody for watching. And thank you so much.
Hey, the man said it. Keep following, like, share, and subscribe. Catch us in the next one.